Perth, rich and lovely city of the Golden West, is the starting point of our trek by truck through Darwin, Alice Springs, Tennant Creek, Coober Pedy and points between. Arriving back in Adelaide after 12 weeks of the sun, sand and excitement of the most interesting country in the world. This is Perth University, a magnificent tribute to the culture and progress of the Western capital. First stop, Geraldton, where the trees grow horizontally instead of vertically, borne down to the earth by the salt-laden winds of the Indian Ocean. These are blackboy trees near Meekatharra. Though estimated to be 2,000 years old, they seldom grow higher than 10 feet. Straight up north now to Marble Bar, an extraordinary formation of pure marble, some 17 miles long and 500 yards wide. The town's water supply is rather primitive, but nevertheless effective. But in the main street of Marble Bar, the beer supply is ironclad, which is just as well, as Marble Bar is reputed to be the hottest place on earth, where summer or winter, the temperature is never below 100 degrees. Gold mining is the sole industry of this hot spot of the north. There are hotter jobs than this, we believe, but we wouldn't know about them yet. In this great bar of marble are pools of crystal clear water, creating real marble baths in the Marble Bar. We sweep on to Broome, sorry for that one, centre of one of the richest fishing grounds in the world, from whence pearl shell is to Europe and America to be made into buttons and ornaments, a live and thriving industry. Broome is not without its own tropical beauty. The lovely homes of the white residents are sheltered by tall coconut palms, but it is in the native quarter that the greatest interest lies. We discovered, living in the main street, no less than 17 different races of people. This is their method of air conditioning, wind catchers, built to catch the breeze when there is one, and so blow the air through the houses. One of the things for which Broome is famous is its tide. Broome is a tidal port, a playground for old Father Neptune. A steamer which rides into port on a full tide is left in a few hours high and dry, while the water races out to sea and often out of sight. As quickly as it goes, it comes back again, a thin trickle turning into a turbulent torrent racing in to float the ship again. Sonny, put down that propeller. Even the pearling luggers riding at full tide become a bit upset when the tide leaves them high and dry. And so we decide to wait until there is plenty of water under us before we go aboard the lugger to learn something about pearl fishing. Actually, they don't dive for pearls, but for pearl shell, large oysters which the diver secures from the bottom of the fishing bed. Here is a typical Japanese sampan, of which you have heard a great deal, flying the flag from the stern. And now, let's do a little diving. These divers' boots are worth a mention. Each one weighs 14 pounds. That's the way to keep a good man down. Occasionally, a pearl is found in a shell, and since there is always a chance that this may be the shell, the cleaners keep their eyes well skinned when removing the fish and scraping the inside of the shell. Should a pearl be discovered, the diver who brings it up receives a percentage of its value as a bonus. In its original state, a pearl is covered by a hard skin, which must be removed to display that lovely luster so dear to the heart of milady. Removing the skin is an expert's job, and rightly so, seeing that the value of this little beauty is about 600 pounds. From now on, I'm going to open my own oysters. One never knows, does one? Have you ever eaten rice with chopsticks? As you can see, it's perfectly simple. You should try it sometime, but not if you're hungry. Along the track to Fitzroy Crossing, we find some bottle trees, which live up to their name in appearance, and furthermore, the Aboriginals claim to find water in their tops. Some bottle trees grow to a great size. This one, for instance, is 45 feet in circumference and was at one time used as an Aboriginal prison. No doubt you've often seen men get outside of a bottle, but this is probably the only time you've seen them get inside one. Fitzroy River Crossing consists of 3 buildings, each 3 miles apart: the store, the post office, and the police station. It was one of the most hazardous crossings on the entire route, as for instance in this picture, taken 15 years ago of a car bogged to the eyebrows being pulled out of trouble by a passing donkey team. At that time, Fitzroy Crossing was almost uncrossable, but today it is spanned by a concrete highway, 1/3 of a mile long, built at a cost of something like £10,000. To our trusty truck, it's just another speedway. On the way up to Darwin, we investigate Geeky Gorge, a magnificent stretch of water, 30 miles long and 300 yards wide. Those who think that northern Australia is just an arid desert will be surprised at its majestic scenery. Geeky Gorge contains not only turtles and crocodiles, but also swordfish and sharks, even though it is 400 miles from the sea. This is real crocodile country, but we will leave our crocodile hunting until a little later. Although the motor car, the truck and the aeroplane are rapidly replacing other methods of transport in the north, the donkey team is still to be found plodding along the dusty tracks in front of large wagons laden with anything from fencing wire to whiskey. The camel team, too, is not yet quite a thing of the past. We came on this Indian hawker near Wave Hill. He is a travelling emporium, carrying their needs to the people of the outback to whom shops are not available. He carries an amazing stock of goods and has been at his lonely job for many, many years. But when he does call in, it's a red letter day for his customers. This was our first glimpse of Victoria River Downs, by far the largest cattle station in the world. It is a little hard to realize that this one cattle station covers an area the size of Belgium, no less than 1,400 square miles of cattle country. The homestead itself is set in beautiful surroundings, with the lovely ponciana tree dominating everything. Victoria River Downs Station is almost a town in itself. Here is the station store, which supplies its many workers with clothing and tools, and in fact anything from boots to barley sugar. Once a week, the black gins, wives of the Aboriginals working on the station, are issued with their food rations. We had some difficulty in getting these ladies to face the camera, and in a few instances, as it was the maids' day off, they had to bring their babies with them. The gins do all the work about the homestead. They're excellent at washing and even herd the goats, which, incidentally, constitute the milk supply. As we moved still further up north, we paid a formal call at an Aboriginal camp. Although they didn't say so in just so many words, they seemed pleased to see us and cooperated fully in allowing us to obtain some interesting and intimate shots. Crocodile hunting is one of the Aboriginals' sports, and a very profitable one. The skins are worth 1 3/4 an inch, measured round the girth of the crocodile. We're going to let this one tell its own story. The Aboriginals' main weapon is the spear, and they are amazingly accurate with them. Watch this one throwing at that gum tree some 100 yards away. And now the Abbo's favourite pastime, corroboree. On now to Darwin, the farthest point north of our route. We come on a rare illustration of the old and the new, the past and the present. A donkey team slowly wending its way, drawing a primitive wagon. And up ahead, a diesel train carrying tons of merchandise from Catherine to Wave Hill. This train has reduced the cost of haulage by £20 a tonne, illustrating again the importance of the petroleum industry in the development of Australia's great outback. Darwin, its main street. Not the tiny country hamlet that many people are prone to believe, but a thriving town of distinct importance to the Commonwealth. There are some fine homes in Darwin, all built up on piles to defeat the white ant, and also, possibly, to allow the owner to garage his car beneath. From the grounds of the government residence, we look out over the jetty, across the Timor Sea, and coinciding with our arrival in Darwin was that of the Imperial Airways flying boat from England. Darwin is her first Australian port of call, and there she fuels for the journey on to Townsville, Brisbane and Sydney, soon to return to Darwin, where she fuels again before taking off for the hop across the Timor en route for England. While in Darwin, we took advantage of its present military importance to watch Australian troops in training. The remarkable precision of these clean-cut lads should make glad the hearts of all Australians. Half our journey behind us, we start south for Adelaide, leaving Darwin and its coconut plantations behind for Tennant Creek, through Katherine and Newcastle waters. On the way, we strike the extraordinary green tree ant. These ants build their nests in the leaves of trees, binding the leaves together to make a snug little home for themselves. Ants are the curse of the north, but one must admire their ability to work. These structures are ant hills, magnetic ant hills. Always built to face north and south, they never vary by as much as 1 degree of the compass. Here are the homes of the white ants, who never come out into the light, but just build and build their 20-foot high castles. Red ants are the bitter enemies of the whites, and if they can obtain entrance to a white ant hill, they attack their foes with great vigor, killing indiscriminately and stealing their hoard of food. As we come down to Katherine, we happen on a buffalo shooter's camp. These hunters have a contract to supply 1,100 buffalo hides in 12 months. We'll show you how they do it. First, they herd the buffaloes into a mob, and then, guiding their galloping horses with one hand and using their rifles with the other, they pick out their targets. But woe betide the man or horse that should fall. Through the hot haze of the plain, we see the buffalo hunters at work. The dead buffaloes are skinned on the spot and the bodies left to rot. Attached to this camp is a number of black gins who finally yielded to our persuasions to stage a corroboree. We believe that this is the first time a gin's corroboree has ever been filmed. Tennant Creek, almost in the very heart of Australia, has recently come into great prominence on account of considerable findings of gold. This little winch brought up no less than 26,000 pounds worth in 6 months. All over this area, you will find them at work in their holes in the ground, taking from the earth what the earth is glad to give, if one is prepared to work hard to get it. On we go, further south on our homeward way to Alice Springs, capital of Central Australia. Still 1,000 miles north of Adelaide and only a few miles from the Tropic of Capricorn. Alice Springs lies in the shadows of the mighty MacDonnell Ranges. Her hospital is famous in the centre, servicing her people with the assistance of the flying doctor for 400 miles around. The MacDonnell Ranges are hills of real beauty, rarely surpassed in loveliness by anything in the world. They form a great barrier from east to west, through which the Finke River, the largest watercourse in Central Australia, has cut great gaps so that one may go through the ranges instead of over them. The Finke River is estimated at 1,000 miles long, but no man has ever traced its full course, and why it should run into a chain of mountains instead of away from it is beyond comprehension. Near the MacDonnells is the Hermannsburg Mission. Controlled by the Lutheran Church, it is on the fringe of the native reserve, caring for, clothing, feeding and teaching the Aboriginals, their gins and their children. We pass Mount Hermansburg itself, entrance to the famous Palm Valley, one of the most magnificent scenic spots in the Commonwealth. Rich in bird life, Palm Valley is a fairyland of limpid pools, cool, shady glens, and soft shadows. Here is one of the strange places of the earth, Coober Pedy. Coober is the Aboriginal word for white man, and Pedy for hole in the ground. A very descriptive title it is too, for here everyone lives in a house dug out of the earth. And although Coober Pedy is 400 miles from the coast, seashells are plentiful in this under-the-ground town. Over the countless ages of time, nature has turned these seashells into opals, and opal mining is Coober Pedy's mission in life. This is the only underground post office in the world. Likewise, the Commonwealth Bank is a vault in itself. Not content with sleeping underground, many work there, digging for opals. This is how the stone is found in the first instance, coming to life under the skilled hand of the craftsman as opals as we know them. And so, after 12 weeks of travel through Australia's farthest west to Australia's farthest north and down through Adelaide, we leave you in the hope that our story fitted your appetite for this land in the heart of Australia. It is the old, old story of the lure of the open road. And could there be a road more open?